Welcome you back here to Game Day Recap. We got our guy Pete Prisco, Carthon and Kanell. I am Haley Sutton. Let's talk about the Rams, guys, and Matthew Stafford and just what this team has been able to do. First of all, can we get Puka Nacua a healthy season? But Pete, I see you smiling over there. What'd you like about the Rams today?
Because I think Matt Stafford right now might be the MVP. And I didn't think that 2 weeks ago. In 2 successive games, he's lit it up. And when you light it up like that, all of a sudden you're back into it. He's leading the NFL in touchdown passes with 21. He's on fire, and he's playing at such a high level. They played the Saints, so you got to temper it a little bit. But this guy, when he's in a rhythm, nobody throws a better pass than Matt Stafford. And he can do it a bunch of different ways, sideways, over the top, down the field. And they really don't scare you with their speed, and he still completes passes down the field. So I think right now, Jonathan Taylor kind of played himself out of the lead spot. He did, or the Colts did. Daniel Jones didn't keep himself in the conversation. Josh Allen's in it. But I think right now, if you ask me who the MVP is, Matt Stafford.
Yeah, and we talked about it, Pete. We talked about it in the green room. I hadn't put enough respect on Matthew Stafford's name in this season because you expect the Rams to win football games, right? And so you're more attentive to the flashier things that are happening around the league. And so after we watched this performance today, I was like, this guy needs to be in the at least top 3 of the conversation, and he's playing really good ball for them. And again, you talked about it. There's nothing Matt Stafford cannot do in terms of throwing the football. When I think of the term arm talent, which I hate in terms of evaluation, I think the word arm talent was created with Matthew Stafford in mind because of just his uncanny ability to throw the ball from every which arm angle and still have zip, and his patented no-look pass. He just makes it all look easy. 3
things to know about Matt Stafford's performance today. Back-to-back games with 4 or more passing touchdowns for the first time in his career. The most passing touchdowns in a 2-game span with the Rams, that's 9. And he has 16 passing touchdowns, no interceptions over the last 5 games. Sounds pretty MVP-like to me.
He is, and the thing that's scary, I think this team is very, very scary. I think I don't think anybody wants to play the Rams with McVay's history of success, with Stafford's history of success, and Matthew Stafford is playing some of the best football of his entire career. And wow, does it seem like a long time ago we were talking about his back in training camp, how is his health, he's getting up there in age, and for him to be able to respond and come look like this, like an MVP candidate, is pretty astounding. But I think the Rams might be one of the most dangerous teams in the NFL once the postseason starts because of their track record. Devontae's there. They're running the ball with Kyren Williams really well. They are a complete, well-rounded team with an experienced quarterback who we know what he's capable of doing. And by the way, remember the narrative around Matthew Stafford when they did win the Super Bowl? He was turning the ball over a ton, right? He only has 2 interceptions along with those 21 touchdowns. He is playing some of the best football of his entire career.
Let me one-up you. One-up you sounds dramatic.
No, I like
you just one-up him.
With the quarterback conversation, we're talking about all the electric things that Matthew Stafford did. At least at the start of the game for the 49ers, Mac Jones was pretty electric too, and he was perfect. Went a perfect 14 of 14, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns in the first half of that game. What did you think about Mac Jones?
He was awesome. This is one where I do think, and there was a lot of conversation around Brock Purdy and his management of the system. This is a system that is very quarterback friendly, and when you've got a running back like Christian McCaffrey that can do so many things his way, that's really what makes it go. And then it's a very high percentage completion system that you're running in that Kyle Shanahan likes to run. So you're just kind of back there taking what the defense is giving you, and Mac Jones has a ton of experience. So I thought it was really, really impressive day for Mac Jones.
Yeah, there are some reports that Brock Purdy could be back next week.
Yeah, I bet he's coming back soon.
Mac was like, I'm letting it fly. If this is my last one, I'm letting it fly. I'm going to do me, and boy, did he let it fly today. I thought he was just really efficient, really accurate, and just made some really nice throws for him. And they were efficient in the red zone, being able to score touchdowns in the red zone. And, I guess I'm going to use Pete because they played the Giants. You can only beat who's on the schedule, Pete. But, again, I think, and Pete talked about earlier, Mac Jones is showing why it's so important to have a quality backup because this offense and the litany of injuries they've had on offense and defense, and they're still in the playoff hunt and still in contention to win their division because of a guy like Mac Jones.
Let's go to the other side and talk about those Giants. Their 3rd consecutive 2-7 start. And Pete, at the beginning of the season when we were talking about the Giants, the one bright spot was supposed to be this defense, and yet when we look at the defensive effort today, it obviously wasn't there.
And that's the thing that disappoints you if you're the Giants, because they went out and took a 7-0 lead, and all of a sudden you look up and you go, okay, now I can turn my pass rushers loose, and I can stop this team and stop the run game. Well, the 49ers ran the ball for over 150 yards. I mean, they did do what they normally do, which is run the football, and then Mac Jones threw off of that. If you're the Giants, you were supposed to have this dominant defensive front. I don't know if you saw last week, but your dad's former teammate, Carl Banks, called out Dexter Lawrence publicly and said, look, you got to start picking up your play, but he's not alone. I mean, think about the assets that they've used on that defensive line. You've used first-round picks on Thibodeau, high first-round pick. You spent a lot of money on Brian Burns, and you also drafted Carter this year, high first-round pick. You're supposed to be better than that. They're not. And so that's very concerning.
Go ahead, Haley. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, keeping the hot seat check going here when it comes to Brian Daboll. Danny, what do you think? Is he still in the hot seat?
Absolutely. I think you've got to be pleased with the play of Jackson Dart. Like, I think he's been, as advertised. And I think he's cleaning up his play. Didn't have any interceptions today. It's still going to be a wild ride. But, man, you've got to win a few games to try to get Brian Daboll off that hot seat. And I just don't know. Their schedule is not getting any easier. I just wonder if it'll be too much to endure at the end of the season, even with a young, talented quarterback, if the Giants just say, you know what, we've got to go in a different direction.
Yeah, and I don't think he'll be on the hot seat just because of what we've seen out of Jackson Dart. And you talked about it earlier when we were talking about Cam Ward. It'll be a detriment to the development of Jackson Dart and the progress he's made by getting rid of the head coach that believed in him probably more than anyone else. So I don't think at this point, I think they kind of know what the season's going to be. And they just want to, just see where Jackson Dart continues to grow. Because think about it, Wan'Dale Robinson was targeted 11 times today. That was his number one target.
Right.
And no disrespect to Wan'Dale, but, they still need to continue to add pieces.
What do you think, Pete?
I think he's coming back. I think Daboll will come back in large part for what you said, because you want to develop the quarterback. You don't want him to have to, play in the position. It's hard to learn a new system all over again. I wonder about the general manager. That's the one I wonder about. We talk about this roster being upgraded and what it is, and is it really upgraded? I mean, like we said, they used a ton of assets on the defensive line. Are they that dominant? They aren't. The secondary is not very good. They have no weapons. Neighbors goes down, and all of a sudden you're weaponless, and Scatterboo goes down, and you're not going to run the ball consistently. So I think there might be a change with the general manager, but here's the problem with that. If you change the general manager, he's going to want his own guy in his head coach, or that coach is going to be a lame duck for the year. He better win, or he's out the next year.
It is very interesting. Jackson Dart, a positive there, the first quarterback in NFL history, the first rookie, I should say, with a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown in 4 consecutive games. So there is a bright spot there for the Giants. We'll just have to wait and see who's going to be the coach next season. It is time for everyone's favorite segment on Game Day Recap, winners and losers. Spoiler alert, the Bengals are on this list. They are someone's loser. We'll tell you who picked them after this.